Hello everyone. Welcome back to Virgo. So glad you're here tonight. This reading is an open collective reflection, a quiet space to sit with whatever is moving through you right now. Not everything here will speak to everyone, and that's completely okay. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if something lands, if something stops you mid breath, sit with it. Don't rush past it. Tonight we're looking at love, not the easy kind, the kind that stays with you, the kind that lives in the back of your mind even when you're trying to think about something else. Maybe there's a person, maybe there's a feeling you haven't been able to name yet. Maybe it's something you've been carrying quietly for a while now. Whatever it is, it brought you here, and we're going to sit with it together. Um, okay, so 3 cards on the table tonight. Let's see what came up. The first one, this one. Don't be afraid to start. And the second HM, wow, yeah, be the best version of you. And the last one, I wasn't expecting this tonight. Happiness is not the destination, it's a way of life. Okay, so let's just breathe for a second because there's something already happening, isn't there? Something that showed up the moment you clicked on this. A feeling, a thought, maybe a name, and maybe you've been trying to manage that feeling. Keep it small, keep it quiet, tell yourself you're fine. But you feel what you feel. And some things don't go quiet just because you ask them to. Um, Love is one of those things. It doesn't care about your schedule, it doesn't care about how inconvenient the timing is. It doesn't care that you've been trying to be logical about all of this. It just sits there in the morning, in the middle of the night, in the spaces between one thought and the next. Patient, quiet, waiting for you to stop pretending it isn't there. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now. At that point where pretending is getting harder. There's a specific kind of person who ends up in a place like this. Someone who feels deeply, maybe more deeply than they let on. Someone who has learned over time to carry their feelings quietly, privately, not because they don't feel, but because feeling too much, too openly, has cost them something before. And so they got careful, measured, very good at appearing fine. But tonight, something in you said, enough of that. Something brought you here, and that part of you, the one that's still open, still listening, still willing, deserves to be heard. So let's look at these cards. Uh, the first card, don't be afraid to start. You know what fear looks like in love? It doesn't show up as fear. It doesn't say I'm scared. It says I'm not ready yet. It says the timing isn't right. It says let me just wait a little longer and see how things go. And those things sound so reasonable, so measured, so mature, even. But underneath all of that reasonableness, if you're honest, really honest with yourself, There's something else sitting there, something quieter, something that remembers what it felt like to reach towards something that mattered and come back with nothing. And that memory, even if it's old, even if you think you've moved past it, has a way of quietly embedding itself into every decision going forward. Not dramatically, not obviously, just as a slight hesitation, a breath held just a little too long, a step almost taken and then not. And the painful part isn't the fear itself. The painful part is watching yourself stand at the edge of something, something that maybe, just maybe, could be different this time, and feeling your feet refuse to move. This card doesn't promise you that starting is easy. It doesn't guarantee anything on the other side. It only holds up a mirror to the space between where you are and where some quiet, persistent part of you has been wanting to go. And it asks very softly how much longer you're planning to stay exactly where you are. Card number 2, be the best version of you. Now this one is interesting, especially in the context of love, because when we hear it, we usually think outward. We think about how we show up for someone, how we present ourselves, how we act when someone we care about is in the room. But that's only the surface of it. The best version of you, the real one, not the performed one, isn't the one that appears when someone is watching. It's the one that exists in the decisions you make when no one is, in how honest you're willing to be with yourself about what you actually want, about what you've been pretending not to feel, about the version of this situation you keep imagining late at night, and then quietly talk yourself out of in the morning. Because there's a version of you that doesn't do that. That doesn't minimize. That doesn't shrink. That doesn't make itself smaller than it is to feel safer. And in love, maybe especially in love, being the best version of yourself has very little to do with being impressive. It has everything to do with being honest, with yourself first, then with whatever or whoever is waiting on the other side of that honesty. It could be, just could be, that the version of you this moment is asking for is not the careful one, not the protected one, but the one that shows up fully, without the armor, without the performance, just you. Card number 3, happiness is not the destination, it's a way of life. So many people are waiting, and not in the obvious way, not sitting by a phone or watching a door. The quiet, internal kind of waiting, the kind where somewhere below conscious thought, you've decided that real happiness, real ease, real warmth, real softness belongs to a future version of your life, a version where everything has already been resolved, where the uncertainty is gone, where the question about this person, this feeling, this situation has finally been answered. And until then, you manage, you function, you get through the days, you hold the good stuff at arm's length, just in case, just until you're sure. And this card, quietly, without drama, challenges that, not by telling you to ignore what's unresolved, not by pretending the uncertainty isn't real, but by asking very gently whether the life you're waiting to be happy in isn't actually the life that's already happening right now, in all its unfinished, still figuring itself out realness. Because maybe happiness in love, and in everything really, doesn't live at the finish line. Maybe it lives in the way you hold yourself while you're still in the middle of everything, in whether you stay open while things are still unclear, in whether you let yourself feel something fully, even when you have no idea how it ends. There's a part of you, maybe a very guarded, very tired part, that has been saving itself for later. And this card sits quietly across from that part and says, later is not a place. This is the place. This has always been the place. 3 cards tonight. 3 quiet reflections. And maybe you came here looking for something specific, a confirmation, something to make the feeling more bearable, or the decision a little clearer. Maybe something landed, maybe something is still settling. Either way, something in you was willing to show up tonight and sit with all of it, and that matters. The fact that you feel this deeply, that something in you is still reaching, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're not sure, that's not weakness. That's the most alive part of you. Don't be too quick to shut it down. Not tonight. Thank you so much for being here. If this reading spoke to you, like, comment, and subscribe. It means more than you know. Take care of yourself gently, and I'll see you in the next one.